If you're someone who wants to be an action taker, a person who gets things done, then you're going to want to pay attention to this episode because I have exactly what you need to get what you want to get done now. And you know what a clue is? Being a student of the present moment. That is the gift I want to give to you in this episode. Tune in, you're going to want to take notes. Have you ever studied why people don't get things done? Like the people who say, I'm a perfectionist because I need it to be done exactly the way it's supposed to be done. Well, I will say for a brain surgeon, absolutely. Or someone who's stitching together a knee that's been busted out of place, absolutely. But for the most part, a lot of us don't take action because we don't believe in ourselves. We don't feel like we have what it takes. We're not willing to risk ourselves, right? We're not willing to take a risk on ourselves. We don't bet on ourselves. And a lot of times that comes from things that have happened in the past and what you're projecting on the future. Let's take one at a time. If you're a person who's consistently worried or thinking about what's happened in the past, oh, well, we tried that, so it doesn't work. And I'm not saying you should avoid what has happened in the past. I'm saying that don't let it be the driver of your ship because that will stop you every single time. We are creators. And in order to be a creator, you have to be a little crazy. I'm saying that in a very good way to dismiss the past, not let it be your now, because that will stop you from falling in love. Because how many times do you have to take a risk in falling in love, right? It will stop you from taking a promotion. It'll stop you from entering into a very cool new opportunity, because it's a fine line because you don't want to be a prisoner of your past. That is where you don't go forward because you're consistently worried about what happened last time will happen again. If you train your nervous system to understand various signs and clues, which is what you want to do as opposed to being like frozen by them or debilitated by them. You just pay attention to them and you become aware of them. Then you can proceed. Notice I said proceed with that in mind, but also dismissing some of the things that you need to dismiss. And so usually I think it's a good practice for you when things have happened to you where you've been burnt in the past, things have happened in the past. If you do what I've said in other episodes, use that as a teacher. What is this teaching me? And analyze it for that purpose. Take from it what you need to learn from it and dismiss the rest so that when you get into a new venture, you can pull up in your mind what are the positives and the negatives and things I need to move forward on. Okay. That's going to help you as you begin to move forward. Now, for those of you who are consistently worried about the future, you're constantly obsessing about, well, what if so and so says this? And if so and so says this, then that's going to happen. And what if 2 years from now, I actually don't have any money and all my money's gone because I've invested in this? And then all of a sudden you again find yourself like you did with the past. You don't go anywhere because you are trying to perfect something that isn't already happening. So that is another debilitating place to be in. It just doesn't get you going anywhere. And some of you have actually glorified that and say, well, I've done my SWOT analysis or I've done my, deep dive analysis and it's just not going to work. That's not going to work because XYZ and PYT and all the things, you just don't get anywhere, right? Did you get the PYT? Pretty young thing. Yeah, I threw that in there for those quick wit people. It's for you. But I just want to let you know that studying yourself and understanding yourself and being a student of what I call the present moment allows you to be a creator. It allows you to take action in a way that no one else can, because it seems odd that someone who's been burnt by something in the past or who's like projecting something into the future that you can't even see right now seems crazy and odd, right? And for me, I'm a biblical person. I love thinking of those times and even more present times. I'll give you a time of the biblical times. Like, what made Noah think, for those of you who understand the Bible, that he actually should build an ark? when there's been no rain forever. And he's talking kind of like this idea that's going to happen, it's going to rain, it's going to flood. Who does that? That's an individual who knows the vision for the future, but is not utilizing the ifs, ands, or what's about the future for the present moment. In the present moment, he knew he needed to build an ark, and that's exactly what he did. Now, let's take another not so recent past, let's say like 57 years ago, that, Martin Luther King, when Martin Luther King was alive, he had a vision. He had a vision that people would actually use love as a form of justice. He said, hate can't drown out hate. And even now to this day, we're trying to figure that out. Some of us do believe in our hearts that hate can drown out hate, but it can't. You will always see throughout all social justice history that just does not work. Now let's take a more present day and let's talk about this 100,000 women, right? Let's think about these 100,000 women that, if you've been following me long enough, you know that I have projected this vision for the Rise Advocates movement, saying that we're going to have 100,000 women coming through the academy. Now, I will tell you, if you've been following along, that one of the ways that I got sick, if you know, I had shingles. Someone's like, well, people that are over 50 get shingles. No, people that are over 50 or even under 50 get shingles if you are gripped by the shackles of stress and you have depressed your immune system. Now, what was going on with me is I was thinking too much about what would happen. How fast am I going to get the 100,000? When is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? I don't have this. And everything in the present moment seemed so bleak. It seemed like it was never going to happen. And that began to debilitate me and eat away at me. You see, I wasn't living in the present moment. I was gripped by the issues that I was formulating in my mind about the future. Do you see why it's so important for you to study and be a student of the present moment? Now, what I love to tell you is that Eckhart Tolle, one of my favorite authors, who talks about the power of now, the power of the present moment. And there's so much freedom that you can get by living in the present moment, by looking at your circumstances now and taking advantage of being in the present moment. I want to list out some benefits of actually being a student of the present moment and what it gives to you. The number one thing, freedom. I mean, who doesn't want freedom? I mean, freedom in choice, freedom in deciding this is going to be for me. You get to choose. Once you understand you have agency over your decisions, meaning you get to own your decisions. You are not bound by anybody's point of view or the viewpoints of what's happened in the past. Now, I will tell you, as an attorney, we do have to look at things called precedents, things that have happened in the past, and that's relevant. But again, if you've done what I said at the beginning of the video and you saw what the past has done, you will be a great advocate, just like attorneys are. The precedence doesn't necessarily set what to do now. It just gives guidance. And that's exactly what I want you to do, is understand the guidance that it's giving you so that you can have freedom and agency in the present moment to make a decision. Does that make sense to you? And what does freedom give you? Peace. Peace of mind, peace in your thoughts, peace in your body, right? When you have peace in your body, your blood flows much more efficiently. So you're going to have freedom, you're going to have peace, and you're going to have good health. Why? Because you're not operating by the hormones of stress. Because when you're consistently obsessing over what's happened in the past, when you're consistently obsessing about what's happening in the future, your body is overwhelmed with hormones that are actually spitting out different types of responses like cortisol that is causing you to feel overwhelmed. And that's exactly what was happening to me, which is what caused shingles. It wasn't that I was just over 50. It wasn't that, oh, my immune system is going down. No, my immune system is shutting down because I'm stressed out and trying to be the future and the past person, not a present moment person. right? So you see all these amazing benefits that can come from you being a student of the present moment. What can I do now? How can I live in the present moment? So I want to give you some tools that will help you do that. Number one, understand your stress meter, right? And we talk about this in our newsletters. We use Dr. Joe Dispenza's work through his book called Becoming Supernatural. We use his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, How to Lose Your Mind and Gain a New One. I love the book, The Placebo Effect, because all of those books, and of course, my friend, Dr. Eckhart Tolle, all of those studies, those treatises, those great information helps us understand how we can self regulate, how we can not push necessarily, but to embody the feeling of what it is to be in the present moment. Well, the tool that you're going to have to do is understand where you are. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza says, are you like from a brainwave perspective? Let's look at that. Like, let's just say, are you at a high beta? High beta, which is a brainwave, means that you are constantly on high alert. You are functioning at the levels of stress where it's about to break. And sadly, a lot of Americans operate that way. Are you mid beta, meaning like you're constantly feeling a little stress, or low beta, meaning like you're alert, but you're not, you're just alert, right? Which is a good thing. I like to say high beta is where people have had like a pot and a half of coffee and they're like, ah! Right? Mid beta is like, they've had a couple cups, right? Maybe three. Low beta is, I just had a cup, you're drinking your water, you're feeling alert. Does that make sense? Okay, so then after that, I mean, beta, if you're trying to be alert, that's a good thing. Well, I say that the best state to consistently flow in is theta. Theta, Theta, is where you're alert, but you're calm. You're feeling like you're in the zone, right? That's a very, very good place to be in. Then after theta comes alpha. Alpha is where you're just getting a little groggy. You might be just getting ready to fall asleep. You might be nodding off like this, right? That's a very good feeling. You know, sometimes you like, I love those feelings, but those feelings come at the most awkward times, like when you're driving and you're like, but you don't get that feeling right before you go to sleep. I mean, if you know what I'm talking about. So frustrating, right? So that's the alpha. Then there's delta. Delta is when you are knocked out sleep and you are feeling good and you have no conscious understanding of what's going on. Well, you want to understand those levels of brain activity because that's how you can have awareness of it. And awareness is half the issue, right? Because in order to be awake and to know is to be aware. So it's really just good to know where you fall. Do you know where you fall most times? I mean, ask yourself, are you primarily a high beta person? If you are primarily a high beta person, please do not turn off this video because you need to learn how to get out of that state because you are on a crash course to dis-ease. And we need to get you off of that. And when you do that, that's going to allow you to get back into the present moment. So here's a tool that I am going to have you test yourself on first. And you might say, oh, this is crazy. I see this, people do this in movies. That's because it works, is to breathe, right? It's to really help yourself take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just me doing that right now in this video just took me down a notch, right? It took me down a notch to the extent that I can actually practice this on a daily basis, slowing my mind down, slowing my breath down, getting in an environment where I can actually get alone and I can get myself into my senses. I can actually flow and dismiss the thoughts and activity that's going on in my mind that's regurgitating past moment experiences and future moment experiences. Well, I can't move forward with this. You need to start being aware of your thoughts and what's going on in the background because this is the background of your mind. Are y'all picking up what I'm laying down? I mean, this is such good stuff. I wish that someone would talk to me about this when I was, studying for the bar exam, when I was, getting ready to go for a promotion, when I was getting ready to talk to someone who I really had a hard time talking to. These steps matter. Now, if you want to really be a great student of the present moment, you are going to practice meditation. You're going to practice what we like to call in our Rise Advocates Academy, these behind the scenes practices that are so necessary for you to develop, right? Because one of the things that you need to know when you're coming out of a deep sleep and you're getting ready to go into the alpha state and, just before theta, I'm hoping I'm having those right, theta and alpha. Well, I'll let you know in the notes if I got it wrong. But one of the things that you need to know is that that's the best time for you to meditate. First thing in the morning and right before you go to bed. Why? Because you're just kind of floating in and out of those different brainwave states, right? See, a lot of people, when they first wake up and right before they go to bed, they're obsessing over their checklists and things, and they're never in the present moment. Never, never, ever. You can begin to practice what it feels like to be in the present moment. Because when you actually get things done, you want to say, okay, this is what it feels like to be in the present moment. And you want to experience emotions, which allow your hormones to emit various types of chemicals. You want your emotions to feel joy. You want your emotions to feel love, kindness, compassion for whatever it is that you're doing. Your work, there should be a compassion in what you do, not just this robotic way of doing things. It's like, I want to be excited about what I'm doing in my life. And when you combine the excitement, which is the emotion, along with this awareness of the brainwave you are at, right? If you're net theta, that allows you to be in the zone. When you're in the zone and you're just getting stuff done. Time just goes away and you're just enjoying your life. And all of a sudden you get it done. You're like, wow, that's so good. And then from there, you can develop this gratitude practice as I'm just so grateful that I know this about myself. And that just, my friends, is the most perfect way to live. And that is being a student of the present moment. It is so good to know this. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Now, the beautiful part of all this is that you can actually practice this with us. We are launching what's called our Hotter at 53 30-day challenge, which starts in 2026 by the recording of this video. Maybe there's going to be another one if this is past January of 2026. But we are launching our Hotter at 53 30-day challenge where you're going to learn about this and more. So we want you to sign up. There is going to be a link here that you're going to want to sign up. The challenge is free, but then we actually have an event that we're going to be launching in February where it culminates into a virtual or in-person event. And all the details will be in that link. Now, we don't want you just to be a listener of these words. We want you to be a doer of the words. And that's the reason why, if you don't want to do the Hotter at 53, then sign up for our newsletter. Because when you actually sign up for our newsletter, you're going to be getting this consistent feed of information that's going to feed you in a way that teaches you how to stay in the present moment. We're also going to link the book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now so that you can read that very good, amazing book. And then lastly, you might want to take it a step further and you just want like an easy way for you to kind of get in with us. We have what's called the Rise 53 paid weekly newsletter that you can actually get onto a wait list on. There's just so many ways for you to hop on this train because we want you to ride our train. Okay. Well, it didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. We want you to come into our community and we want you to thrive. You are a VP, executive level woman. This is the place for you. I hope you enjoyed today's videos. Please like and subscribe and share this video with someone you know needs to learn how to be a student of the present moment. All right, we'll see you in the next video.